advice I say is absorb it, learn it, discover it, talk to people that manage to uh, do a master class or two. That helps well out as well. That helped out as well. Just learning it, man. Because me, I've been managing for 12 years. I could tell you if the artist pop. I could tell you if the artist going to be successful by his personality. I could tell you by the way they he talk for the first 45 minutes if they even ready.
And we're back again. I'm Shawn from DevoApparel.store, and this is Inspired Conversations. And today I have a very special guest with me. Jamiere Shagwell is with me today. How's it going, man?
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for me joining the show, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, I feel like I need some of those podcasts, like sound effects.
You see what I'm doing? Like,
I need a Don DeMarco to go off right about now. But,
right.
But yeah, dude, I am so excited to have you on here because we have been interacting, I guess, since probably about the time I did the Diamond interview. Me and you started kind of going back and forth on Instagram, and then you were gracious enough to link me up with some of the artists that you are managing and involved with. And so we've had the privilege to talk and interact for a while now. So it's been a long time coming to do the interview. So I'm excited about it, man.
Yeah, man. I say, you know what? I was actually trying to do this on my birthday so I could bring some algorithm, but trust me, it's gonna work out regardless.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate you working with me on that too. And just to kind of get right into it, you know, I know that you've been involved in some major things. So I kind of wanted to just start at the beginning though, and why music? What got you into music? What got you into wanting to do this as a career? You know, where did that start? Where did that passion come from?
I think the passion comes from just me watching. Like when I was young, mind you, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. When I was young, two things that got me like urging to do it. It was the internet and it was the people in New York. And I'm from East New York. As we don't have a lot of handful of artists from there. We have Uncle Murder, Troy Ave, DJ Premier, a couple of guys. But I got inspired because I ran into this all white party Puff Daddy was filming. It was like a Puff Daddy used to do music conferences in August, like before the summer is over. He used to bring out Andre Harrell, like all the big name music industry artists. He used to bring them to Manhattan. They used to network and talk, things like that. So I looked at this flyer. I was like, God damn, this is so amazing. I was so inspired by the flyer. And I told my mom about it. My mom wound up bringing me there. She wound up just showing me. She was like, yeah, this is it. So I'm looking at this. I'm seeing all the heavy hitters. I'm seeing everybody. Busta Rhymes. This is when Heavy D was still alive. Like I seen everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn, I really want to do this. So I started researching, found the studio in Brooklyn, went to the studio, me and my best friend Marvin, just me and him. Press play. We did the first freestyle, Lloyd Banks. That's when Hungry for More album came out. He was freestyling off his beats. And after that, I was like, all right, what to do now? So so it was a website called, it's not up now, but you could still probably Google it. It was called armusic1.com, right? His website was run by this white dude named Tom. He lived in Atlanta, but you basically will pay an A&R to jump on the phone with you, critique your music, and if he's interested, he'll sign you right away. So, of course, I'm still in school. I don't really have money. So the guy, Tom, you should start sending me, the pen and free conference calls so I could just jump in and listen. So I jumped on to listen one time. It was, who was on there when I first jumped on? It was actually Lenny S. from Def Jam. He got fired, by the way. But anyway, Lenny S. from Def Jam was on there. He was like, oh, if I find the right hit, I'm signing you. you'll change your life. So I'm just listening. Oh my God, it's this easy. So I wound up begging my mother, taking my friends to the studio. All of us now. Now all of us is going. Record the song. Mind you, it's like 6 of us on this song. Tell my mom, can she pay for 1 session? I said, just pay for 1 session. Let's see how it goes. She wound up paying for 3, but she did this one. This first session was Dean Jackson from Disturbing the Peace. This is when Ludacris was on fire. Dean Jackson hears the 2 records. He said, I like the first one. The second one is okay too, but I really like the first one. I said, so what's the next step? Are you able to sign us? He said, how many is y'all? I said, 6 of us. He said, oh no, 6 of y'all have to worry about travel, clothes, makeup. No, that's not in our budget. I'm good. Just straight shut me down. So I'm like, how he say he interested, but he don't want it? It just started like messing with me. You know what I'm saying? So as I got older, I started studying music more. I started studying contracts. I started studying copyrights. I started studying publishing. And I really was just studying off the internet and people I was just meeting up in New York. So speed up to that, 2007. Hold on, let me see if I could. I still got it. Hold on. 2007. We jumped on this first mixtape right here. This mixtape is called Street Credibility. We was number. We was number. I still got classics. We was number. Hold on, I'm about to see it right now. Oh, we was number 13 on it, right? But the thing about this, the thing that's I got inspired by this is because this. And I'm gonna show you what made my dick hard at the time. Look. You see the sponsorships at the bottom?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, Adidas, Sirius XM, all these people supporting. So I was like, oh hell no. Oh, I gotta do this. Because I already know when if you have a CD like this, you're not the only one supporting if you have these at the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So we jumped on that mixtape. The mixtape did incredible to the point that he wound up throwing us on. He had a DVD coming out that same year. He wound up just throwing on that shit for free. He was like, yo, y'all dudes is dope. I wound up networking, getting to know people. This was when All Access DVDs out, Smack DVDs. This is all when that's out. Mano just came home, so he had Brooklyn going crazy. So, like, I would just get inspired by people I would just run into. And every time I was elevating, I was getting better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why like when people talk to me now about management, I'm like, y'all niggas don't know what I've been. I managed 8 guys at one time and 1 girl. And all of them had different personalities. All of them didn't want to pay for studio time. I really had to manipulate the situation for them to invest into their own career. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't easy, but I did it. So long story short, after I started getting the knowledge, and mind you, A&R Music 1 helped out a lot because I went on there 2 more times. I got cool with this guy named Stone Stafford. Stone Stafford was working with Universal Music Group / Upfront Records. Upfront Records was a label, a division under Universal that Akon was signed to. So I got cool with him. He just kept saying, yo, when you come to Atlanta, just call me, I got you. Kept networking more. This is when Instagram came out. Like years later, this is when Instagram came out. Because before Instagram, I was on MySpace. And I'm going to tell you this quick story because I always wanted to say this on an interview. I was on MySpace. I used to copy and paste a paragraph to all the record executives. I used to be like, hey, my name is Jamiere. I just want to get in this music industry. I want to learn with you. How can I work my way up? Like, I carry your bags. Like, I want to help. A lot of them didn't respond, but the ones responded, I always remember. So it's this guy named Blue. I don't know if you heard of him. Blue was like a big manager at the time. He managed Outkast, Monica, TLC. He had Tiffany J under him. Right now, Tiffany J managing Hitmaker, but she was under him as an intern. So Blue was like, he had he started off with Jodeci. He was carrying Jodeci bags and stuff. So I reach out to him, my same paragraph. He's like, I don't give a shit. Get up and work hard. I had to carry bags for 2 years for me to get it to even get Jodeci's attention. Work hard. Bust your ass. So I'm like, what is wrong with this man? This man could easily say, come on tour with me and hold a big boy bag. You know what I'm saying? Or go get tickets and food and stuff from the cleaners for Outkast, you know? But he would just getting on me so bad, like, y'all young dudes think this is easy. This shit is not easy. Get off your ass and work hard. So I was like, I took it as an offense, but I also absorbed it and got expired. You understand?
Yeah.
Because he was already giving me signals for coming to Atlanta. So, long story short, New York didn't work out. Like, I literally tried in New York. Like, I tried.
Yeah.
So I tried in New York. Mind you, I went back too. I'm gonna tell you that story. So I moved to Atlanta 2006. I actually moved down here December 30th, because when New Year's came, I was already here. I went to Atlanta Job Corps because I got kicked out of Boys and Girls High School. Gang banging, I was like the biggest blood in, right? So, long story short, I come to Atlanta. They give me an intern position at a front desk through my school. Well, I'm like, I don't want this. Why are they doing this to me? I don't want this. So I reached out to one of my friends that I remember that I reached out to on MySpace named Andre Glenn. Andre Glenn, Avery Mitchell was working with Ludacris at the time. They was under, Ludacris had his own management company called DTP Management under his record label.
Yeah.
So they was working with him. So I come up, I'm like, oh shit, I know Andre. Let me reach out to Andre, let him know I'm in Atlanta. What he could do for me. Reach out to Andre. Andre like, hey, what up? Where you at? I'm like, yo, I'm in Atlanta. He like, oh shit, come on. When you get out of school, meet me here. I met him at Chicken and Waffles, downtown Atlanta. Never forget. I walk in there. Andre Glenn got the all black on with the big dummy watch, just sitting there waiting for me. And he was like, yo, man, Jamiere, thank you. What you working on? Let me hear your music. That's why I was still doing music. Like, he heard my music, he critiqued me. He was like, nah, just work, you're going to get better. He was like, I'll help you. So, took me to Disturbing the Peace office. I met Shaka Zulu. I seen Ludacris plaques. I seen when I walk in on the right, you saw 106 in Park on. Player Circle was #1. 8 straight weeks with Duffel Bag Boy. Like, this is when DTP was ringing. So I was like, yo, bro, I don't even care about my music. I just want to help. Like, is any way I could do some promotion and marketing? I even pull up flyers. It's like, yeah, you good. He was like, you could do promotion and marketing. So for the past 3 months after that, I would just Duffel Bag Boy, Player Circle. I would just posting up flyers, like, you know, the flyers on the wall when you go outside and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I was doing those. So I got inspired by that, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try to get all the knowledge I know, and then take that and go back to New York, and then we gonna get on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, long story short, it didn't really work out how like that. It was just basically just a promotion of flyer nigga. But I did establish great relationships over there. Like Jeff Dixon, he's the co-founder of DTP. I could call him right now and answer. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the relationships is still there. You know, the relationships is still there. Yeah, man, it took a little journey. You know, I'm gonna talk to you about this mixtape too, because this is when I went back to New York. And yeah, man, the journey was just seeing it and then wanting to do it. You know?
Yeah, and I'm glad you shared all those details because I definitely wanted to mention the DTP connection and how you started interning there. One of the things that I think when you said you got that message from Blue on MySpace and he was like, "Man, you just got to work, you got to work." Like you said, we hear stuff like that, and it's hard not to be immediately offended by something like that and be like, "Oh, what do you mean?" Like I'm not saying I don't want to work. I just need the opportunity to do so. But I love how the story then transitions where you're like, I got to just take the opportunity. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go to Atlanta. I'm going to call this person. And then when they're like talking to you about music, it's like, no. I'll do whatever. Give me some flyers. Give me. And I think that a lot of times it's not so much that we don't have opportunity, it's that we don't take opportunity. We don't take charge of our opportunity. You know what I mean? And so what I love about that part of your story is that's literally you taking charge of the opportunity and saying, like it might not be happening in New York, but let me move here, let me get here, and let me start with these relationships that I'm building, and let me just start taking charge of the opportunity. You know what I mean? Let me just be around it too, because just being around that, like even I can only imagine the feeling of walking into the offices of DTP and seeing all the plaques on the wall and seeing all the like that is a surreal moment when you know you're around greatness, when you know you're around people who are achieving their dreams and not just achieving their dreams but doing it at like a high level because like you said DTP at that time is on fire. You know what I mean? You couldn't stop them. You couldn't stop what Ludacris was doing at the time. And so yeah, man, I can just imagine how inspirational that is too and just being around that. And I think that that's a huge takeaway for people listening is you may feel like that, opportunities that come in your way, or you may feel like things are just kind of dragging by and you're putting in all this work. But I've said it this way before. It's like, man, if they're not listening, make them listen. If they're
Make
not
them listen.
noticing, make it so visible that they can't help but notice. Make it so loud that
Right.
they can't help but hear. You know what I mean? Just double
Right.
down and put yourself out there. And man, when you walk into a room, you don't know what's going to happen in that room and how the people that you meet in that room and them just seeing your face and they remember you and you're the thoughtful dude or you were the dude that did this or you're the guy that stuff always pays it forward. You know what I mean? It always comes back to us. Maybe not directly from those people, but just putting ourselves out there, it gives us more opportunity. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
anyways,
And not only that, but you got to realize when I started, I wasn't thinking about managing. I was just thinking about rapping with my homeboys. But
hmm
every time I rap, I get oh, he sound like Mace. Oh, he messes up the record. Oh, we don't like his voice. And as an artist, that bothers you.
hmm
You understand? Because you like, okay, I'm saying the stuff that they saying, but my shit is real, and you still saying you don't like how I deliver it. So I had to go through that process. I had to go through a process where, okay, it's not about me. It's just about us getting it. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And I got expired on the way, mind you. I used to send my music to hip hop since 1978. That was one of the best managements in the music industry. They had
Yeah.
Nicki, Kanye West, they had Drake, they had Jay Z. They like that. That management was so
hmm
amazing. I sent
Legendary.
them my music. I sent them my music. They said, "Uh, we don't like that, man. We don't like that, man." I was like, "Well, I got more." It was like, "No, we just not interested, man. We just not." So that was back then in the early 2000s, where when you press play on that one song and you don't move nobody, they don't want to hear you.
hmm
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
hmm Exactly what you're saying. So, what prompts the move back to New York? Like you said, you're soaking up this game. You're doing the flyers. You're doing that. You're around the environment. You're around the artists. You're around and like I said, a change of environment is huge because we can never grow if we're in an environment that is halting our growth, right? So we have to be in
Yeah.
environments that are bigger than where we currently are. If we want to be at a certain level, then we need to be around that level. You know what I mean? We got to be people who are achieving that level and going to the next level and so because that inspires us and that challenges us and I'm a firm believer that like you are the people that you're around. So if the people who make up your circle are successful in an area, the odds of you becoming successful in that area is greater because they're rubbing off on you. But likewise, if you're around people that aren't achieving anything and are kind of just settling in whatever they want to settle in, and that's their choice. But if that's what they're doing, then that's probably going to be your destination as well, because once again, it's going to rub off on you. And so you're in this environment, you're inspired. What prompts the new move back to New York? Was it like, okay, I'm going to take this information and apply it to New York? Is that?
It's really funny as hell. So I'm out here in Atlanta. I got my high school diploma at Java. So my mom's like, "Congratulations, I'm happy for you. What now?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to college. That's one thing. I got to be focused on what I want to do. I should have went to college, but that's another story. But I wound up going to college years later. Anyway, so I got I got a job interview at Truth. You remember Truth, the cigarette company?
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is when Truth was just recruiting people to go on a tour bus and just travel the states with them. They'll pay you, you'll come out, you'll talk to people, you'll tell them stop smoking, things like that, right? So they had the interview process out here to Atlanta. The final interview will be in New York. So I did Atlanta. I did 3 interviews out here. I made it to the last step. Last step was New York. Went to New York, did the last step, didn't get the job, right? So I'm in New York. I'm like, okay, well, I'm here. Might as well take advantage. So I stayed. So that's why I wound up staying.
Gotcha.
Got with my old friend that was already doing music. When I was like, yo, listen, man, I don't want to rap. I just want y'all to rap. I'll invest in it. I'll put the marketing together. I'll call the DJs. I'll call the features. I'll call the radio station to get this promoted. But we need to figure out which one of our friends is ready so we could push them. So we sat down with 5 of our friends. None of them wasn't ready, and one of them wasn't confident to release their own mixtape. So we went to our best friend. His name is Derek, but Dice Gambino. Dice Gambino was the only one ready. He was making his own beats, he was rapping, he was doing his own studio time, recording himself. I was like, okay, he's the package, right? I did that mixtape from scratch, from start to finish. From all the beats. I picked out the DJs. And the reason why I picked out those type of DJs is because I was building a momentum around him for the streets. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to New York, for you to get popping, you gotta get popping in the streets. You understand? It's like, you know how it is. Like, you get signed to a record label, you get some radio play, you get attention off that. New York is like, they gotta know your name in the streets. Then you jump on the radio, they'll know you already.
Yeah.
So I wound up working on that. Got DJ Infamous, DJ Love De Niro, shouts to Love De Niro. He was a Waka Flocka's DJ at the time. And I just put all of them together, made the songs together. And it's just that when it was finished, the artist felt like he was getting the reaction he wanted, but he thought he was just going to get a reaction out the gate where you get a record deal, you get publishing deal, admin deals. He just thought it was going to come off the gate. And I'm like, no, this is a hustle. Yeah, you're a little popular in your hood, but it takes more than one hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he got a little encouraged. And I could tell he got a little encouraged because he fought me from teeth to teeth just to get duplicates of the CD. I had to come out my own pocket to get the CD. I'm like, why am I paying all this money? This is your mixtape,
Yeah.
But it helped me doing that mixtape because I got a great relationship with Easy, which was French Montana manager at the time. It's Biscuit, which is still cool with French Montana. Focus from Aftermath, I got cool with him. And it just helped me out of branching out, getting cool with people. I actually got cool with DJ Envy manager, June as well. Shouts to June. So, like, the more I was, like, putting shit together, the more my relationships kept getting better,
Yeah.
And then that's how I landed my Maybach music internship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's I like the hustle mindset when you get back in New York. You're like, all right, so I'm gonna take because there's a part, and I know you have this mindset. It's like even though you're at DTP when you was in Atlanta and you're the flyer guy, like you said,
Mhm.
you know, I know you have this mindset where it's like just because I'm the flyer guy doesn't mean I'm not soaking up and I'm ear hustling and I'm paying attention to how this whole shit's working. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, I remember when I read 50 Cent's latest book, he was talking about that. He said, you know, when he was at Columbia, even though they weren't really doing anything with his music, he was like, well, I'm signed to Columbia though, so I'm gonna go to the office every morning. You know, I'm signed to them. So even though they're not working on my music and I'm on the shelf, I'm just going to go there. So when he went there, he would spend time in the marketing department. He would spend time in this department. He would spend and he would just listen and he would watch and he'd go to the publicist and he would realize like they can't necessarily make you hot. They can only turn the volume up on what you already have going on. So you have to have some kind of hook. So then when he left that meeting, he went back and that's when he recorded How to Rob because he was like,
Mm.
I gotta have something that gets people's attention, so I'm gonna diss everybody in the industry. And so then that's how he got that attention. Then of course he got shot, and that whole situation fell through. But it was
Mm.
the idea that he was taking the opportunity he had, even though it may have just been, I'm an artist that's on the shelf and they ain't working on my music at all, but I'm still signed to them, so let me use their resources. So like even though you're the dude hanging up, you know, the posters and the different things like that, that's still a part of the system. So while I'm doing this part, let me learn the other parts. Let me see why they're
Learn how
doing
to
this.
boss.
Let me see what they're doing here, you know.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
now you're back in New York and you're like, okay, who's ready? Like, let's find someone because I know that they already
Right,
have to
right,
have that
right.
drive. I can't give them the drive. I can't make them record. I can't make them see to invest in themselves. But who? Okay, he has that. So let me get with him. And if he has that, then I know what I'm bringing to the table. I know how this shit is working a little bit. So let me apply that. And it sounds like you said, like the relationship building in itself is worth that. Because I think sometimes, like you said, like with the artist, I think sometimes we think this is going to be the one. I've even had
Right.
those thoughts when I record videos. Like I'll record an inspirational video or I'll do an interview and I'm like, dude, this is the one. Like this is gonna blow
Right.
up. It's got 100 views. I'm like, okay,
Right.
maybe not. But what I realize the more I do it is it's not just about did I get the end result that I wanted. That was a step. I use this illustration all the time. But like when my son was learning to walk, he didn't just get up walking. It took time. It took steps. You know, there was a process. He had to start rolling over. Then he started crawling. Then he started standing up. And then when he finally started taking steps, it was one wobbly step at a time. And then he fell. But
Um,
we knew that those steps would lead to more steps that would lead to more steps. And now he don't fall anymore. You know, and so the idea is that that was a step forward. You know what I mean? And I think that when we're pursuing something that we're passionate about, it's like yes, we have an end goal. Yes, we have like a vision of what we want our lives to be and what we want our careers to be. But at the end of the day, whether or not that single task yields that result, I'm one step closer to it. You know what I mean? Because with that step, even if it didn't result in this artist blowing up and getting the publishing deal and getting all that, you learned something. You know what I mean? You knew the
right.
industry more. You met more people that you didn't know before. You had conversations that you didn't have before. You were able to take a step forward, and that step's going to be pivotal in the next step.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Because I'm a
Exactly.
firm believer when we step into a situation, we're coming into the situation with all of our previous experience. So every up, every down, every success, every failure, every lesson, we're bringing all of that with us into the next endeavor. And so, yeah, man. Anyways, I'm just soaking up your story here. So,
Oh, that's dope. I appreciate you listening and understanding.
yeah, man. So what is the time at MMG like, and how did you land that?
So, MMG, MMG is real interesting, right? So, let me tell you what happened. So, I'm in New York. Hold on, let me grab my water. We live, we live. Okay, so I'm living in New York. Um, still off the mixtape hype. Um, I reach out to this email for muscle management. This email was on um, Torch, 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 and Young Lead, I think. Because remember, Rick Ross had his group called Cartel, City Cartel.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What is the Florida shit called? Carol City, Carol City. Long story short, remember when 50 Cent started crying to about a flop? That
Yeah.
album, right? So he had the email on there called Muscle Management, right? So I was just with my boys. I'm like, yo, man, I'm just seeing my dudes that I see come up like me getting these fucking intern positions and these A&R positions. Like, what the fuck, man? Then, this was a time when, I don't know if you heard of him, but Sycamore, Sycamore was around the same time as me. But the way Sycamore went in and got his A&R position was he was bringing talent to Atlantic Records, and then that's when he gave him his position.
Hmm.
So I'm like, yo, how's these dudes? Then I see he got Saigon signed to Just Blaze. Then I was friends with what's his name? God damn. Not his name. Long story short, it's Tommy Hilfiger's son. Tommy Hilfiger's son started rapping for a little while, and he was signed with Swiss Beats. I used to talk to him all the time on MySpace too. So I'm seeing these dudes getting signed. I'm like, yo, what the? So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Just. I mean, what's the worst they're gonna say is no, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I was like, let me email Muscle Management. Uh, you remember when Gmail first came out and you could see like people logged on in Gmail and you could do like instant chats off
Yeah, yeah.
Gmail?
Mm-hmm.
So um, at the time, uh, Star was on there. The Star was working with MMG, and Star was online. And I was like, yo, Star, what's up? My name's Jamiere. I know I hit you up before, about your artist. I just want an opportunity, man. I just want to, just give me a shot. I'll do anything. Like, what's up? And we real busy over here at MMG right now. Um, Rick Ross about to sign two big artists. We're really packed up. But if you need any if you need any support, I'll refer you to my assistant Meg, right? So I'm like, referring assistant, all right, fuck her, right? Let me hit up that other email and see if he responds. So I hit up this email, GDK. He was actually the vice president of Maybach Music at the time, before they gave it a Fat Man Scoop Brothers swap, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he jumps on the phone. At first, he thought I was just a client that just trying to get a feature. I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, yo, I want to help out. Like, what can I do? I could bring shit to the table. Like, what's up? He was like, yeah, 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 man, I got you, man. I stay in touch. I click, left it like that, right? I left it alone. I didn't reach out to him and say he's gonna stay in touch. So this one Friday morning, I get a call from GDK himself. He's like, yo, I'm off the Maybach music tour. Where you at? I'm in New York. I was like, I'm in Brooklyn. He was like, I'm in the Bronx, yo. If you want this intern position, you gotta come see me now. I was like, see you now? Where you at in the Bronx? Mind you, he was all the way in Yonkers. It took me 2 hours, 30 minutes to get to him. I had to take 3 buses,
Yeah.
2 trains.
See,
Literally.
on
I
a
left.
side note, that's how that is though. Like now that I'm coming down to Atlanta, like I just want to chime in here, like.
Yeah,
Man,
you
like
got.
I'll be like, man, I'm in Atlanta, and it's like someone else will be like, yeah, I'm here too, and it's like 60 minutes, and I'm like, what? Like we're both in Atlanta, but it's an hour apart. Like that's how the city is. But
Yeah,
anyways, go ahead. Like,
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, yo, this nigga bonkers. Mind you, I'm all the way in East New York. I did not want to go that way, but I said these people think I'm playing, so let me show them that I'm destined. So I went there. Mind you, this was like 12 o'clock. He hit me up. I got there like 5:36 when the sun was going down. So I finally get there. He like, about time you came. I thought you wasn't coming. He was like, you really want it? I'm like, yeah. He was like, all right, boom. This is what I need you to do. I need you to go on my whole phone, take all the DJ numbers out. I need you to promote the record with Torch and Jim Jones. It's called Uptown. That's when he was promoting Uptown. He was like, I need you to send it all to the DJs. Do that. Took his BlackBerry. He had a BlackBerry. I went through DJ Khaled number, DJ Carmelo, Funkmaster Flex. Like these are all these DJ numbers in his phone. I took all their phone numbers and emails, sent the whole email blast out. Right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, good job, like that. Yo, when I get back from the tour, I got you. Right? So I'm sitting here waiting. I'm like, okay, still on tour. I haven't got a call yet. Did I do it wrong? Did he like the way I did it? I should have brought a big laptop with me when I went there. I was just thinking of ways I could have just stand it out,
Yeah.
So I reached out to Meg, which was Star assistant at the time. So she comes on the phone. She's like, hey, I'm like, hey, trying to get an internship under Maybach Music. I've been working with GDK. Met up with GDK. He told me when he come back on tour, he got me. She was like, oh, okay, good. That's good. Well, Star's not currently working with us no more. I manage Gunplay now because their main focus was Gunplay. That's the only thing that was focused on was Gunplay. And I was like, cool. She was like, yeah, he has I have an assistant already, but if anything changes, I'll let you know. Right? So I'm like, all right, cool. Still on hold, right? GDK comes back to New York. He's like, yo, what's up? Meet me here. So I met him there. He's talking to me. He's like, nah, because I'm going through all these family situations. Like, I think his mom died and like a lot of personal shit was going on with him. He just wanted to take a step back from music. So I'm like, no, get me in first, then take a step back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was a little selfish at the time. I'm like, no. So you mind you, this is when Rick Ross signed Meek Mills, Wale, they got Paramonium out. I'm a Boss just dropped. You know what I'm saying? So they on fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got a call after he said he stepped back. I got a call from Meg. So Meg called me. She was like, all right, Jamiere, I'm going to give you a shot. But if you fuck this up, you're done. She was like, Gunplay fucked my assistant, so I fired her. So I'm going to hire you because obviously he's fucking all my people, so I'm going to bring you in. So I was like, all right, cool. What you want me to do? She was like, I need you to hook up some press for him. I need you to do some radio interviews for him. He's coming to New York in 2 weeks. I need you to put something together for him. I was like, oh shit, all right, cool. So called up my people, called up June, DJ Envy guy. I got him on Breakfast Club. That's when him and Charlamagne started to get real cool. When you first see the first Breakfast Club interview with Gunplay, he says, yeah, my sister and my man is not here today. I was actually on my way there from Virginia, but my black ass missed it. But anyway, he mentioned it in the Breakfast Club interview. But long story short, I did that interview. When he came to New York, I paid $700 in his pocket off just DJ drops. Mind you, just DJ drops. He got $700 for it. I got him a walkthrough at One Bottle, walkthrough for an hour at this Brooklyn spot. I paid $1,000 for that to just do a walkthrough. You understand? Mm-hmm. This is me bringing that to the table. So he's like, she's like, oh man, I didn't even know you was that good. Let me talk to Gunplay, and mind you, she really had to like reel me in to get the internship with Maybach Music, because Gunplay, he didn't want to be open to no guys. He didn't want to associate with nobody. Like when I did shit for him, he was just like, who? He always forgot my name. He was like, who? And he always didn't remember shit. Mind you, I did not know he was on cocaine this whole time, mind you. So I'm like, the fuck is wrong with this nigga? Like, if I would have did that to anybody out here, they'd have been on my knees for me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, so this one time, um, he was coming to New York. Mind you, she used to put me on three-way with Gunplay and not tell him I'm on three-way. He used to be telling her he blew $5,000 at the club. He need gas money. He's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? He was just real like reckless with the Rick Ross money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this one time he really needed some money in his pocket because he was coming to New York. So I called up DJ Naeem. DJ Naeem, shout out to DJ Naeem. I'm gonna see him in 2 weeks too. DJ Naeem was working with Mr. C at Hot 97 at the time. So I hit up Naeem. I'm like, yo, Naeem, that's when Roland was out. Roland was real popular. The best markets Roland got successful with is with New York and Florida. That was the only places they was playing in. So he was good in New York. So I was like, yo, I got Gunplay. I manage Gunplay, Roland. He's coming to New York. Let's put some shit together. He was like, yo, I book him right now. What he want? So we going through prices on the phone. He was like, I can't do it for 18. Tell him 16. Can't do 16. Tell him 1,500. I can't do that, right? So we wound up coming to the conclusion of 1,500. The minute I said 1,500, 2 seconds later, Mr. C said on Hot 97, yo, big announcement. We got Gunplay coming through Jersey Girls tonight. I'm like, mind you, 2 seconds I agreed. He said it on the radio. Mm-hmm. He was like, yo, we playing. He was playing Rolling, shine it out. And I'm like, oh, God. So, mind you, man calls Gunplay, say, yo, your boy Jamiere booked another show again. He said, who? He said, oh, all right, tell him, good looking, right? He gets to the show late, right? He got there like an hour late. DJ Naeem called me and said, I'm not giving him 15. I'm giving him 1,200 because he was late. I said, no problem. I called Gunplay and Meg again. It was like 1,200 is cool. Gunplay goes there, he performs, girls go crazy, he signs autographs, he had big, great reaction. Mind you, I'm at Macy's doing overnight, like 34th Street, looking at Madison Square Garden outside. I get a call out of nowhere from a Florida 305 number. Oh, yo, what's good, little homie? This Gunplay. Yo, appreciate you blocking that in, man. You a part of the team. You MMG. You my little homie. Mind you, me and him the same age. So he's like, you my little homie. I'ma hold you down. You good for life. You good. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I hear this all the time, but that's good. He's finally giving me acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. After that phone call, she sent me the paperwork. I was internship. I was there.
That's awesome.
So when I was there, I was telling myself, I'm not going to just fit in one position. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people intern under people, they got to stay in that pocket. They can't explore. Like if you intern under Def Jam and your job is to work with Neo, you can't work with The Weeknd or The Dream. You have to work with that one artist. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was working with Gunplay, but I wasn't making no money. And not only that, it wasn't a great thing to say in a conversation at the time. Because when you bring up Maybach Music, the first thing they say is, well, what about Meek Mills? Well, what about Wale? Well, what about Stalley? Well, they'll bring everybody up with Gunplay. And the thing about it is, at the time, he was going through cocaine, the gun charge. So he was really messing up his own career for himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to sit here and just wait till this nigga get a call and that's how I eat. I was like, fuck that. I'm reaching out to niggas. So I found out who was the lady that was the Maybach Music. I found out the lady that was booking all the shows for them. Got cool with Aubrey. I say, Aubrey, hey, I'm intern on the Maybach Music. Oh, congratulations. I was like, can you get me with Phil? Phil was Meek Mill's manager. I called Phil. I'm like, yo, Phil, I'm part of MMG, man. I want to do shit for y'all too. He was like, all right, come on, you with us. Phil called me when he was in DC. Went out to hung out with Meek Mills the whole night. Hung out with them. I met Dallas Martin. You know, Dallas Martin is with Solemn Records now. I met the whole team. I met his whole team. Was rolling with him and everything. So I was just branching out. I called Wale manager, hung out with Wale. Called Rick Ross manager, hung out with Ross. Rick Ross took my bitch. I'll tell you about that later. But hung out with him, right? So I was just trying to network with everybody to say, like, yo, I got access to any artist you want. Just call me, you know?
Yeah.
And I wound up building my own clientele and I started booking shows for myself. So when when we did a three-way, mind you, I was with Def Jam. I mean, I was with Maybach Music Def Jam for like 4.5 years. The reason why I even stopped is because after 50 Cent and Tony Yayo beat Gunplay ass at the BET Awards, it's like after that happened, he didn't apologize to his team. He didn't it's like he didn't have no remorse. It's like he don't give a fuck. And I felt like that's very selfish. You have a whole staff that's relying on you and you go out there and get your ass beat, and now nobody don't want to even see you right now because you look like the light-skinned dude that got beat up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I was supposed to be there that night too. So long story short, I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. First of all, before that even happened, we got a call from Def Jam. It was me, Meg, Def Jam, the marketer of Def Jam on the line. She says, oh, so what do you do for Gunplay, Jamiere? I was like, I book all his radio interviews. I do walkthroughs. Anytime he comes to New York, I give him bookings. I do everything for him. She was like, oh, that's great. Well, we don't need you to do that anymore. I was like, oh, wow. She was like, yeah, we already had people to do that. It's fine because this is the time when he left his group. He had group uh a group deal with Def Jam, and Rick Ross bought him out to get him a solo deal with Def Jam. So once he went solo, we did the conference call. They basically was saying, we don't need you. We could do everything ourselves. So I jumped off the phone. I was like, yo, Meg, you heard her? Like, she said she don't want me doing nothing. What you gonna say? She was like, well, she said what she said. Oh, you're not defending me either? Fuck you too then. You know? Mm-hmm. So I stayed because of loyalty. But after I seen that, I was like, no, this is not for me. You know, I wound up having great relationship when I was interning over there. I got cool with 2 Chainz. I was there when 2 Chainz got signed. You understand? I was there when Rocco was lit. Remember when Rocco, I'ma do me, you know, so I had a great rapport when I went to MMG. You know what I'm saying? But I just had to leave. Sometimes when you're loyal to something too long, you're not gonna get what you want out of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, just listening to your story and time at MMG, I think once again, it kind of is reflective of what we were talking about earlier, where each step leads you to the next step, right? So the time at DTP prepares you for the time at MMG, and then the time at MMG prepares you for what you're doing now and managing your own artists and doing everything that you're doing now because, you know, like we said before, each step is going to lead to the next step. So, like, there is a lot of when you were just talking about like how you impressed them when they were like, whoa, you already got a show. Like when you first linked up and it was like, yeah, I got to walk through. I got this. It's like, well, damn, like he's willing to put in the work and he's willing to maneuver, and doing all of that is, once again, you're building your own future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're taking it in your own hands. Like, you're giving me a little opportunity, but let me show you what I can really do with a little bit. You know?
Not only that, Shawn, but when it comes to this music industry and when you get with certain labels where a lot of people don't have experience in, they try to downplay your name. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, when I start getting cool with more people with Maybach Music and I started talking to them and they started telling me about the past, they was telling me like the stuff I used to book for Gunplay, he didn't even know I booked it. He thought somebody else booked it. But they wasn't giving me my credit that I did it. Mm-hmm. Because if they just said Jamiere did this, Jamiere did that, they won't have a job. You understand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So some people be trying to block your blessings when it's really not blocking it, it's improving it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, she could have easily said, "Yeah, Jamiere did it." Even if you would have got fired, you think I would have never hired you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of times, ceilings to our potential don't always look like, oh, I can't do this. Sometimes ceilings to our potential look like being scared of the next person and how they do it. What stops our growth isn't always our own doubts about our own work, but it's oftentimes the doubts of how our work compared to someone else's work. If you're doing the best job that you can do, if you're putting in the work that you know to do, and you're giving it your all, you ain't got to worry. Like, I'm not worried about someone else is doing interviews. I'm just not. The reason is because I'm going to be the best at it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about the next motivational speaker because I'm going to do the best of what I do and what I produce and what I put out. So I'm not worried about someone else taking my spot. I'm not worried about someone else getting ahead of me. I'm not worried about the next person because I know that when I leave, they're going to remember my name. I'm going to make my mark. You know what I mean? And that's what you were determined to do. And I love how you were talking about, like, okay, well, let me not just be linked to one person. I got to know everybody. Let me get linked with every artist so that they know that I have something to offer. And I think that is making the most of the opportunity. Once again, turning up the volume to where they have no choice but to listen. They have no choice but to see. They have no choice to recognize that it's you. They have no choice. And like you were saying, like, some people are going to be jealous of that. Not everybody has that same mindset. I knew this one guy one time we was talking, and every bit of his conversation, he was always worried about someone taking his opportunity from him. He was always worried about, well, I don't want to show everybody everything because, they're going to know how I do it. And if they know how they could do it or how I do it, then they could take my clients from me. And it's like, dude, if you're good at what you do, those clients aren't leaving. They're only leaving if you aren't as good as him. So just be the fucking best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you ain't got to worry about the rest. And so if you're doing everything you're doing with excellence and you're giving it everything you got, there's no shame in that. If they go to the next person, okay, well, they go to the next person. There's plenty of people out there. You know what I mean? We're in the internet age now. So, like, we can reach everybody with just a click of a button. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about just maintaining my pool because I plan on having an ocean. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, I love that story so much. So just kind of, I want to be mindful of your time. So as we're kind of coming to that part, you leave MMG. Is that when you just immediately start saying, hey, I'm just going to do my own thing now? I mean, is that where the transition happens?
I left Maybach Music, and I said, okay, I have I had 378 photo contacts in my Microsoft Excel that I gained from them. I also have radio programmers. I also have radio personalities. I have managers. Like, I had Denzel Washington manager in my Microsoft Excel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I had everything I needed. I just needed to put it in my style and make money off it. Yeah. Right? Mind you, I used to wake up 8 a.m. every day on the phone with Meg. I used to call numbers from 1 through 20 every day. 1 through 20, every promoter, every day. And I'll tell them about Gunplay. Of course I get denied. What about Rick Ross? I don't want him, So I went through that. So I took all my resources that I learned, left MMG, and I just did on my own. I came up with Piranha Management. That's the management company that I LLC, and I started booking shows under there. I moved back to Atlanta. I was booking shows and then when I started, of course, everybody starts off low, When I told you the shows that I booked for Gunplay, after that, I didn't book anything. Like, when I left off and tried to do my own thing, all the numbers that I had, nobody didn't book with me. This one dude named Bernard. It only takes one, too. So this one dude, Bernard from North Carolina, called me out of nowhere, random. He was like, "Yo, Jamiere, what's up? You still booking celebrity artists?" I said, "Yeah, whatever you want, I got you." He said, "All right, man. I'm gonna pitch you on to my girl Chaz. She's fresh from Europe. She got a little money. She want to do the party thing. I'm gonna refer you to her. Make sure she's straight." I was like, "All right, cool." I get referred to her. She wound up booking with me 2 times a month. So the first show we did together, we did what was the first show she booked? We did I forgot the first show. But long story short, she booked Joel Santana with me. She booked Omarion. She booked Janelle Aiko. Like, she would just come into me every month. When she came, another promoter came in Georgia. "Oh, I heard you booking shows." I booked Snooty Wow. You remember Snooty Wow? All I know is Yayo.
Mm-hmm.
I wound up booking his first show in Georgia. I did. You know what I'm saying?
Hell
sold
yeah.
it out. Sold it out too in the barnyard. It was amazing. Sold it out. So I did that. I wound up booking for Young Ralph. It's like, once you do your first booking and you just be doing your thing, everybody else just start gravitating and calling you. They probably see that, okay, he's legit, let me call him, But I was making at least $5,000 a month, to the point that I didn't have to work anymore. I was just living off my bookings.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you know, how everything works in this music game. There's always a high, there's always a low. So after a while, the booking started getting, shorter. I started getting aggravated because, it takes a lot to get money from these people. You understand? Yeah. Two bookings that really broke my heart was Nicki Minaj booking and Little Boosie. I had Nicki Minaj for $100,000. She was going to perform out here in Savannah, Georgia for arena. She wanted $100,000. The man was going to send 60 up front, 40 on the back end, and I was getting 20,000 out of that for just booking it. Do the paperwork, do everything. You sure she's coming? She should put him on freeway with the manager, everything. And Friday, he's supposed to send the money. Changes. That's one. Another one. You remember when Lil Boosie was locked up and he kept, they kept saying he was coming home, but he wasn't coming home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think you should know the story afterwards, because he says it now. But his brother was booking shows. I was cool with his brother. I had a show for Lil Boosie for $120,000. They had to give up 80 up front, the rest back. He was giving me $30,000 just because he knew he was going to sell out, because Lil Boosie, fresh from home, everybody want to see Boosie,
Yeah.
He was giving me $30,000 out of that. I said, "All right, cool." He said, "You sure this legit? You sure?" I said, "Yes, it's cool. Yes, it's legit. It's legit." Did the 3 with his brother. His brother say he's coming home. Legit. Everything is legit. Paper, legit. So that Monday morning, he was supposed to send the money. Hip Hop DX, what's that? Double XL, all hip hop, all of them start posting up how Little Boosie brother is taking bookings from promoters and stealing it, saying Boosie is coming home, but Boosie was not coming home.
Damn.
So after he seen that article, he backed out. He backed out immediately.
Yeah.
Then when Boosie came home and I seen Boosie do the interview, he was like, "Yeah, that's true. My brother was stealing the money." I was like, "God damn."
Yeah.
You could have stolen the money after I do the shit.
Yeah, exactly. Damn. Yeah. Well, and it just shows.
After that, I was like,
I was just saying, it just goes to show. I appreciate you just being honest about the ups and the downs, because like you said, a lot of times people assume, okay, well, now I'm doing my own thing. I got these contacts. I got all this, and it doesn't always go like that. Like there's still going to be this grind. There's still going to be, oh, well, you don't. What artist do you have? Do you have this person? Do you have it? you're gonna go through that back and forth. And so for every, like you said, 5,000 a month, there's gonna be that month where maybe you could have made 30, and then it just
Mm-hmm.
goes out the wash because some shit happens. And your resiliency in those moments are what is most crucial. Because I've had some moments like that, just even doing what I'm doing with interviews, where, like, I pay for a spot. I don't pay for the interviews, but I pay for a spot, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a location secured. I've spent X amount of money. I've traveled down there. I got everything set up, and then the interview falls through, and it's like, man, like that was a
Mm-hmm.
loss,
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe it was just a total of, by the time I traveled and by the time I secured a spot, maybe it's $500 I lost, but that's 500. You know what I mean? And then it's not just that; it's the time, it's the 6 hour drive, it's the 2 hours of being in the room, and so those moments can discourage you, or those moments could be the gas. It could be the fuel. It could be sometimes I think our back against the wall could be our superpower. Our setback could be our setup. You know what I mean? It could be what fuels us. It could be what drives us to the next level. It could be what we use as some fuel or motivation. Like, this has got to happen. It's not just
Yeah.
oh, this would be okay if it happened. It's like, no, no, no. My livelihood is at stake if it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So that angst, if you will, I don't know, man. It makes for some of the greatest come up stories. I mean, once again, I always love using 50 cents because I think it's like the epitome of it. But, it's like a lot of people, I would even say most people in that situation, they're done after they get shot. Like, even
Yeah.
though they don't die, like, they're just done. Like, yeah, I'm not doing this music thing no more. Like, I'm
Yeah.
blackballed. I
Yeah.
can't record
Yeah.
anywhere. Not everyone's going to be like, well, let me find a spot where I can. Let me go to Canada. Let me go here. Let me go in this dude's basement. Let me record this. Let me get the bootleggers to put it out. Like, not everyone's got that angst. So when we hit the problems, because they're gonna come, it's not if, it's when. When the hiccups happen, do we step in or do we step back? And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have to
And
have the tenacity to step in.
not to cut you off, Shawn,
No,
but
no,
it's
no.
crazy.
I'm with it.
It's crazy how loyalty is, because around the time when I was living in New York and I was interning under Maybach Music, I ran into Jay Bennis. Jay Bennis was working for G Unit, 50 Cent right hand man, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, yo, what you doing? I said, I'm riding with MMG. You don't see these niggas is hot like fire? He's like, bro, come with us. Come with us. Come with us, bro. You will get so much more of what you're doing now. I was like, nah, what I look like jumping to 50 Cent when I just was with Rick Ross. Like, they
Yeah.
beefing. That's not me. That's like jumping to hot, So he was like, yo, bro, do it, bro. I mean, it's not like niggas know you for you to get blackballed. You're a behind the scenes nigga. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, but I just don't feel right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I talked to my guy now over there. He's helping 50 Cent with Power Book 2. He's helping out with the casting. He's on payroll. And I'm like, damn, maybe I should have went that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with it.
you
Yeah.
know? But
Yeah.
it's crazy how the world works, because when you that's one thing about this music industry. When you have a great relationship, but I mean a relationship, like a great relationship, at the end of the day, all this entertainment is everybody want to use you for something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see Kanye West walking around here looking retarded, and you see Justin LeBoy and French Montana, all these dudes around him, they're not around him because it's Kanye. They want to hang with him. They around him because they want something out of him. They want a beat. They want a hook. They want something. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So I
Yeah.
had to learn that, like, when these people around you smile and say, "We're cool," they're not really cool. You're only cool because you want to get to me, that you want something from me that I have that you can't get. You know.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's how I had to learn. So the relationships I have now is amazing. Like, everybody calls me, be like, yo, you not mad? I'm like, I'm not mad at all. I could call Slab right now and talk to Rick Ross if I want to. Slab knows me from intern I made that music. I didn't even know the man knew me until he was like, Jamiere, of course I know you. I could hang with them anytime if I want to. You know, Rick Ross got a big ass house not too far from the airport I could go to. I could call 2 Chainz and hang with 2 Chainz and smoke big blunts this big all day. I can go to Disturbing the Peace and hang, even though the office is not open, but they're still moving. It's still the music industry. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the relationships that I had with my internships, I'm still good to this day. That there's no bad blood where people say, "Oh, Jamiere stole from me," Jamiere manipulated the situation. None of that, because I just been myself this whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's all I know how to do is being loyal, being with you, and work this shit to the top. You know, and that's why I started CEO mixtape. You know.
Yeah, I love that. I love the conversation, the like you said, integrity behind everything you do. I think is important, um,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, we're not just selling product; we're selling ourselves. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Why does why does Nike, right? Why does Nike have a brand or an influence, right?
Mhm.
You can get that from anywhere. Like it's just rubber. You know what I mean? We can make our own shoes, but the reason why people are loyal to that or to a Yeezy or whatever is because it's made them feel something. It's there's kids that remember Michael Jordan dunking with his tongue out. I was one of them. You know what I mean? It's why I want a
Mhm.
pair of Jordans. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want it for any other reason, but because it made me feel something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or even kids nowadays, they see it and it's like they want it because people who made them feel something have them on their feet. And so at the end of the day, we're not just selling, like everything's a commodity. Everything can be done by someone else. But what makes us unique is what we bring to the table. It's our personality, like you were talking about. It's the integrity, it's the work, it's the all of that. So having a good name in the industry, I think, is a huge thing. Not burning bridges and realizing. I remember when I did the Raw Dean interview that you hooked me up with. I remember him saying, realizing it was a quote that stuck with me. He said, realizing that everybody is in it for themselves to a degree,
Mhm.
and you can't be mad at that. That's just how it is,
Mhm.
and it's so true. It's like all of us do have motives and all of us do have goals and we all have things that are driving us, and so we can't be surprised if someone is going after what they go after. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's their goal, that's what they want. So I'm not going to waste my energy or my time if it's not what I want. But if it is what I want, then let's get it together. You know what I mean? Like we can do that
Right.
together. But yeah, I think having that good name is huge. I think because that's one thing that I remind myself every time that I do an interview. It doesn't matter who I'm doing it with. I tell myself a few things. I say I'm going to be the best interview they ever had.
Mhm.
I am going to be the most inspirational interview they ever had. And I am going to provide the best conversation that feels good to them so that when we get done, they're calling up their friend or they're calling up the person they know and saying, hey, you got to do an interview with them. You know what I mean? Because this shit's different. Like it feels good. We're talking about life. We're talking about dreams, and it's amazing how that pays that forward. You know what I mean? I get that result. It doesn't happen every time, but a lot of the interviews that I'm setting up now are interviews that are being set up for me by a person I just interviewed, and that just goes back to what you bring to the table, what you're offering, the integrity behind what you do, the importance of it, the way you make people feel when they're around you. Like all of that is huge to getting your name out there, like you said. So, anyways, I just wanted to compliment everything you just said. As we wrap this up, if there's just one lesson that you would want to give to someone, or just one piece of advice, if there's someone that's listening right now that's like, man, I want to be in the music industry. I want to manage, or I want to be an A&R, or I want to be a recording artist. What's the one piece of advice you would give them?
Um, the one piece of advice I would say is learn the role from front to back, examine it. Always be on point when people talk to you. Because I notice, if you notice when it comes to this music industry, and when you get around these listening sessions, these DJ summits and these conferences, everybody's talking to music, but everybody is dropping different jewels. But it's really the same jewels. They just saying it a different way.
Mm.
So it's like people were saying like people would say, oh well, the streaming will improve soon. And there's certain people that be talking, and it's like, okay, you know about music, I could tell you about music. So the best advice I would say is learn the role you want to do, make sure you really want to do it, and just strive with it. Everything else is gonna come.
Mm.
Like me, I didn't want to be a manager. I wanted to be in a manager because I didn't like my voice on the record, and I said, okay, I want to be in this industry. I want to manage. I'm inspired by Puff Daddy because Puff Daddy don't know how to make a beat for a lick, but he's a platinum producer. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like look at Hitmaker. Hitmaker has 12 producers in his studio, but he don't touch a lick, but his say Hitmaker. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, God damn, these dudes getting credit for other people, and they just say they're CEOs. I could do that. That's easy. But I want to do it and give them credit. It's a difference.
Yeah.
So the best advice I say is absorb it, learn it, discover it, talk to people that manage to do a master class or two. That helps out as well. That helped out as well. Just learning it, man. Because me, I've been managing for 12 years. I could tell you if the artist pop. I could tell you if the artist going to be successful by his personality. I could tell you by the way they talk for the first 45 minutes if they even ready. You understand? A lot of people just manage like that's my friend. I manage him, or he's hot on TikTok. I'll manage him, but it don't work like that. It's bigger than TikTok. It's bigger than life. You have to think of them as the treasure that will be successful in the world.
Yeah.
Like I speak to I have a best friend, TJ DJ. He's the one that got K Camp signed to Interscope. He's the one that got B.O.B. signed to T.I. You remember B.O.B.?
Yeah.
He used to manage Kevin Gates as well, right? But he been a manager for like 20 plus years. I speak to him like at least one time a week, right? So when I speak to him, I'll tell him, I have an artist, man. I think it's the one. First thing he say is, well, are they special? I'm like, what you talking about? The nigga got fucking 100,000 views on YouTube. He go live, he get 5,000 plus. He like, yeah, that's fine. But is he special? I'm like, what you mean? Like, is he an artist that if you get him signed and if it don't work out with that first album, will he go home and try to do another job, or will he try to do another better album and get himself better? And I'm like, that's a great question. I don't know. Because he thinks deeper into what it is. You know what I'm saying?
It's so true, though, because, a lot of times when we're on the journey to our dream, whatever that dream is, we get told no. And like we were talking about before, when you experience the conflict, when you experience the adversity, what do? Do you step in or do you step back? And there's a lot of people who gave up on their dreams because someone told them no. Someone said you couldn't do it, and you believed that you couldn't do it because they said you couldn't do it. But if you believe what you say more than what they say, if you value your opinion more than you value their opinion, you wouldn't stop and you wouldn't give up. You would know that it's hot. And I say that all the time. It's like, look, I'm the biggest motivational speaker in the world, just not everyone knows it yet. But they will one day, because I'm not going to stop until everybody recognizes that. And I think that that's what you're talking about right there. The perseverance, the pushing through. There's countless numbers. I mean, T.I. himself is an example of that. You know what I mean? They didn't know what they had with Dope Boys, but T.I. knew what he had. So he said, hey, give me this money or let me go. And they said, all right, you're gone. So it's like, all right, well, now we make trap music because people love the Dope Boys. So it's just the idea of not taking no for an answer, knowing what you want and pushing forward. So And I love the advice. I love the interview. Thank you so much for jumping on here with me.